How's it going, you guys? TheNamesJustB here, and welcome to my channel. Welcome to 2021, you guys. So this is going to be officially my first video of 2021. I know 2020 was a very tough year for everybody. It was a tough year for myself as well. But the main point of this video is to try to shed some positivity into the world. To show people like, hey, you know what? Good things did come out of 2021. For myself personally, I know that last year it was tough. You know, a lot of people lost their jobs, a lot of people lost their small businesses, a lot of people were not financially stable, were very depressed, are still depressed. I know a lot of people that are going through it right now, and I want to send my condolences, I want to send my prayers, I want to make sure that they know that they're not alone, because I made it with the right support group and the right support system, which is crucial in these times. So yeah, if you take anything away from this video, I don't want you guys to think that I'm flexing or that I'm trying to like show off what happened to me in 2020. It's not like that. It's more like I just want to show you guys that 2020 wasn't a complete shit show as we all thought it was, and still think to this day, because nobody wants to go back to 2020. Let's be completely honest. So yeah, I want to go ahead and start off with my top 5 things that happened to me in 2020. Let's go ahead and start off with number 5. For me personally, it was the year of my first big boy job, and by that I mean my first full-time job. I finally have graduated from Cal Poly Pomona, got my bachelor's in computer information systems, business administration. I don't know if you guys know this, but Chase just wasn't cutting it for me anymore. I used to work for Chase Bank. It was a great company to work for. I can't bash on them, I never will. It was just the situation that I was in. Management had promised me a full-time position once I graduated, and once that came to fruition, they kind of forgot what they told me, and I was like, okay, but you guys remember telling me that I would get full-time, right? And they're like, no, when? So yeah, it didn't work out. So I started job searching, and finally I came across Progressive Insurance. And if you guys have never worked for insurance, it is tough. It is not something easy to just jump into, especially coming out of just part-time jobs and never having worked full-time, 40 hours plus overtime and all that good stuff. So it was very hard for me to adjust, and on top of that, when I first started, that's when COVID hit us, and it hit us like a sledgehammer. So instead of me getting the normal training like everybody else, I had to do everything virtually. And so I started working from home, and I've been working from home since March of 2020. It's been different. Like I said, it's not easy, but like everything else in life, you just get used to it. For the first time in my life, I had money, and not the first time in my life. If we go all the way back to my military career, I had money, but I was young and dumb and would spend it on every little thing that I possibly could. Probably the first day. So if you guys have ever seen or have you guys ever heard of the expression, we're eating lobster today, and then the rest of the week we're gonna have ice cube cereal? That's pretty much how I lived my life back then. Now it was more focused on, okay, how can I grow as a person? How can I move on? How can I expand and become better? So that was the mindset coming into that job. And really, it was the first time where I felt like an adult, and I was just like, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of barely getting by and not being able to provide for myself and for my girlfriend at the time as well. And so yeah, that was number 5. Now moving on to number 4, because of that job opportunity that I got at Progressive, it led into me being able to permanently move out of my parents' house. Now, when I say permanently moving out, I mean, this is technically the second time that I've moved out of my parents' house, the first being the military. However, being in the military, if you guys aren't aware, it's not exactly freedom. You are abiding by a very strict set of rules, a very strict, you got to do this at this time and do this at that time. You should go to sleep at this time because you're waking up at 3 in the morning to go work out, and it's very rigorous. So I never really felt like it was me having my own freedom personally. So for the first time in 2020, I had that freedom. I moved out and I moved in with my girlfriend for a couple of months, where we started, really brainstorming on what to do next with our lives. And that brings me into number 3. So number 3 for me, we we got a house. This right here, this is my own house. I finally was able to afford it, with the help of my then girlfriend. It's one of those things where I just feel blessed, and I feel very, very proud of my accomplishment, because I set aside those ridiculous spending habits where I would spend. And don't get me wrong, I do like to splurge every once in a while on like expensive clothing or like video games or things of that nature, but not as crazy as I was back then. If I had an $800 paycheck back then, I would spend $700 of it on clothes and $100 of it on basically myself, and it would suck. But yeah, so I got my own place. The procedures for moving into the new home were annoying, to say the least, especially right now during COVID. Everything is done electronically, nothing was done in person. But being a veteran, the veteran services really, really helped me out. So it helped alleviate a lot of the stress, though there were times where I felt they could have communicated better with us. But I'm guessing everyone, this is a new experience to everybody, so they get a pass on that. I understand. But yeah, so it was just another positive thing that happened to me, and I couldn't be happier. Now moving on to number 2. So you know how I'm always saying my then girlfriend, well, she's not my girlfriend anymore. She's not my fiance anymore. I married her. I married Rochelle, and it was a decision of mine that I actually have been wanting to do for years now, if I'm being completely honest. But due to the fact that I didn't feel like I could properly provide for her, and I couldn't properly have my own place to move into, I never really went ahead with it because I didn't feel like it was the right time. I never felt like the timing was correct. I couldn't look at her father in the face and tell her, hey, I was going to take care of your daughter, until 2020. So I finally decided, you know what, we're going to do this. And we didn't do it in the traditional sense where we held a big party. We would have loved to invite as many people as possible. And it was one of those things where I know my wife was saddened by it. But we went ahead and did it through the city. We did it through the city of Riverside, and we have been married since June 30th, 2020. So it's been about 6 months. We haven't killed each other, so that's a good sign. So yeah, so you guys want to check it out, the ring. So yeah, that's the ring. So I'm a married man now, so I couldn't be happier. And yeah, that's number 2 positive thing. Now a couple of honorable mentions before we hit number 1. In 2020, we got a new car. We decided, hey, we needed a better car for my wife, so we went ahead and got a 2020 Crosstrek, a Subaru in gray, and it's been very good to us thus far. So that's been another positive thing that happened to us in 2020. Also, my sister came back from New York. You can see this as a positive and a negative depending on who you talk to, depending on if you're talking to my sister or me. For me, it was a positive because I missed my sister. She was living out in New York, but due to the pandemic, it was safer for her to come back to California and be with us and our family, and she's living with my parents right now. So that was definitely something that I held in high regards, and is definitely an honorable mention for me. Just to have my sister close to me, to know that if there's a family emergency, she's literally down the street from us, even though it's a long street, very long street, across town. It's closer than me having to go all the way to New York. And now, finally, number one. Now, number one for me is something that it's just incredible. It's amazing. It's something that fills me with so much joy every single time I think about it. I'm thinking about it right now, so I can't stop smiling about it. It makes me emotional. I can't lie and say that it doesn't make me emotional. I'm an emotional guy. Come on, man. We're Colombian. Colombians have a lot of emotions. You guys know this. If you guys have ever seen the show Modern Family with Sofia Vergara, you know how Colombians are, man.
Oh, nobody's going anywhere until she finishes the whole soup.
No, Gloria, it's fine.
No, it's not fine. That's the problem with this country. Nobody cares where they come from. They just want cheeseburgers and prep school, and they have forgotten about Colombia.
Okay.
And this is no exception. So, I mean, I don't want to beat around the bush. I want to tell you guys straight up, I'm going to become a father. I'm going to be a dad. And it's the most amazing thing that has ever happened to me, let alone 2020, the most amazing thing that has ever happened to me in my entire life. For me to know that I have a baby girl on the way, it is literally the best thing ever. I don't have anything else to compare other than getting married. You know, I gotta say that. No, I'm just kidding. But it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm so happy, I'm so excited, I'm so nervous to be a parent, but I want to be the best that I can be. Her name is Sophie. We chose the name Sophie. It means wisdom. It's derived from the Greek word Sophia. We didn't want Sophia. We wanted something soft, something nice, and the best name that we came up with, me and Rochelle, was Sophie. So Sophie's due in May of 2021. But the news of me becoming a father and knowing that my wife was pregnant came in 2020. So that is number one for me by far. I can't wait to have you in my arms, Sophie. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with all of you guys. So that's definitely number one. I really hope that this pandemic is done with sooner than later. I do miss going out and playing basketball. I do miss going out on walks without having to wear a mask, literally everywhere. I do miss having those adventures with my wife that we used to take in Los Angeles. Los Angeles has been very severely hit with the pandemic, so it's kind of like a no-go, especially now since she's pregnant. So I'm definitely taking care of her in that respect. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. I enjoyed sharing this with you guys. It's interesting times in my life. I hope you guys are having a great time starting 2020, and if not, well, in my opinion, I feel like things are only getting better. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. The name's just B here. You guys have a great rest of your day and a great 2021. Peace.